the Force Nutritionist here. I just want to do a quick video on how I'm going to make my own fruit roll-ups. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with a great big bag of frozen vegetables, 4-berry blend. This has raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries. So this should be pretty good. So I'm just going to put a little bit of fruit in here at a time with a bit of water so that it'll blend, or you could use juice if you wanted to. So here's my second batch. Also, I didn't mention before, if you wanted to, you could add like a little bit of honey if you find that the fruit isn't sweet enough on its own. But I find that fruit is very sweet on its own, and I certainly don't need the extra sweetness on there. So I have not added any honey or other sweeteners in there. And this fruit earlier, and I dehydrated it for too long. So I'm just going to show you the consistency of it. It's almost like a chip. It's almost too dry. So that was for, I think that batch was on for like 15 hours. And I had looked at it at hour 10. And it was almost done then. And I should have only put it in for maybe another 2 hours would have been fine. But it was nighttime, so I put it in for another 5 hours, and that was too much. So this time I'm gonna try it at probably 10 hours. I'll check it in like 5 and then put it in for 10 hours, but I won't put it in for the full 17 hours because it was too much. So we'll hope that this one works out good. So I have all my trays loaded. They're in the dehydrator, and I've put them in for 7 hours on 135 degrees. So we'll check back in a few hours and see how it's going. Good morning. So here we are the next day looking at our frozen fruit. I had this in for 7 hours. Then I went in and checked it again, put it in for another 4. And at that point in time, I took out a couple of the layers because they were dry, but some of the other ones weren't. So now let's see how we're doing for all the other ones. That one's done. That one's done. That's the extra one from those ones. And it looks like we're finished. So that's pretty cool. So now let's see how this works. So we take this all out, and it just lifts up from the parchment paper like that out of the tray. And one thing I realized that I didn't do yesterday is spray the parchment paper with a little bit of oil, like a spray on Pam or something like that, and then it just comes off a little bit easier. So as you can see, there's still a little bit of moisture in there, so I might have to put some of this stuff back in just on that little tray, but we'll pull them out and see how this works out. Bit of a mess, and you got to make sure that you get all the paper off because you don't want to eat that. But it is pretty yummy stuff when you're all said and done. And then all I do is I just cut it up on a cutting board and then bag it up. Now this is more of the right consistency that I want. It's more like a fruit leather compared to the other stuff that I made the last time that was like a chip. So This one will be better, I think. Hi, and we're all finished. Out of 1 unit, I have 2 bags of dehydrated fruit. So that's pretty awesome. That'll last a long time because, I mean, you could put it in with your mixed nuts, or you could put it in with your oatmeal or your granola or anything when you're having lunch out on the trail or breakfast on the trail, and you have your fresh fruit with no additives or no extra sugar in it. If you guys found any value in this video at all, just make sure you hit the like button and subscribe below. And stay tuned for more. Have a great night.